you get going, and you're trying to be a contractor and you're trying to, grow a contracting business and you think you just have to do. And then in reality, you do need to stop, you need to pause, and you need to think, what is my avatar? What is that one thing I want to do and I specialize in?
No more burnout, no more fear. We'll build it strong, make it clear. Not just a grind, but a dream that's true. Building a business that works for you.
Welcome to the Builder's Edge podcast, where we dig deep into the stories of inspiring industry leaders like today's guest, Ray Mertens. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Okay, thank you. Raymond is a true craftsman who has honed his expertise in wood flooring through Wildwood Flooring. Love that name. His presence on platforms like Instagram and TikTok gives us a glimpse into his creative world. Today, Ray will share his journey from a general floor service to a specializing exclusively in wood floorings. Beautiful wood flooring jobs, Ray. And he'll show how this specialization has transformed his business and his daily experience. Glad you're here, Ray.
Oh, thank you so much, Deanna, for having me on your show. It is so great to be here with you today, and looking forward to having our conversation.
Yeah, let's do it. Okay, let's talk a little bit about your background and motivation. So, what inspired your transition from, maybe offering general flooring, which is typical in this industry, to specializing solely in beautiful hardwoods?
Yeah. So my journey in the trades began back in 1997, and it's been this evolution of all phases of construction down to generalized flooring, and we just keep niching in deeper. And recently, within the last year, there's just been this realization that I can be known for nothing because I do everything, or I can actually be known for the thing that I want to be known for. And
Oh,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
that is perfect. That's what I'm
And
even trying to. I'll admit it. That's what I'm trying to find out in my business is, and I've been working this morning before we met on that very same thing is that niching down and I think sometimes it makes us think, oh, it's going to put a box around me. It's going to keep me from doing this and maybe doing that and maybe no. It's going to give you focus, clarity. So how has this focusing on this wood flooring, how has that changed your daily operations or improved your business growth?
absolutely, simplified everything, and it continues to get simpler the more I hone it in. And I want to go back and actually answer the motivation about why I chose hardwood. I
Yeah.
mean, we did tile and all kinds of different hard surface flooring. Even had a period of time where I did carpets as well.
Oh my.
Which, man, no more fuzzy stuff for this guy. It is.
Oh,
That's just way. Those guys are
that's a whole
crazy.
other worm, isn't it?
Yeah, they work way too hard.
They do.
Um,
Their poor knees.
yeah, but hardwood for me, it's that smell of the sawdust. I
Hmm.
worked as a young boy. I was in my father's. He was a sign carver, a wood carver, and he very creative. And I remember being in his shop, and he'd have me sweep up the sawdust shavings, and that smell of newly cut fresh wood is just something that stayed with me forever. And so that's just one little piece of the motivation of why I chose to niche down into hardwoods.
Oh, that's beautiful. And it's kind of like those smells in other aspects of our lives. We smell that smell, and that probably just brings you back to that time with your dad in the shop.
Oh, and it's so invigorating to my soul and just yeah, like it makes me excited to go chop up wood and bring the outside in, the beauty
Yeah.
of outside indoors for people.
Oh, there's nothing better than a house and sometimes people will complain about a squeak or so, but I mean there's just nothing about that
That's character.
it is
I tell them
character.
that's how you know Casper's in the house.
That's what I say. That's what, when somebody hits that second step in the stairs, I know they're coming up the stairs.
That's right.
Okay. So how's been the client response to this specializing in the wood?
Overwhelmingly good, actually. There's been a few disappointments, a few letdowns, a few of, turning away. And I think it's been harder on me than it's been on them because sometimes it's really hard as a business owner to look good money in the mouth and say no. I still have all my tile tools. That's a reality. I haven't actually gone so far as to get rid of all of those types of tools. And so, um, but we're getting known for something and we're getting calls on specific, on wood floors. And I'm blown away about how it's actually blown up quicker than when I was known for everything flooring.
Wow. And see, and that's what you want. If you're the business owner that wants to grow your business, that's what you want. You want it to excel. So that's very interesting. This is good advice for anyone out there to think about that niche and think about how they can hone in on perfecting that. Good stuff. Good stuff. So as we think that we're building a brand and that's basically what you're doing is you're being known for what you're known for. And when we think about our business, too often we think about it during my lifetime. And then
Mhm.
sometimes we think, well, just like for our business, we're basically about 5 generations, but we're 3 generations within this business, along with, my father. But so, no one is ready to, I'm talking to him about, kind of slipping into that business. He's not ready. Bless his heart, he's not ready to retire, but
Yeah. Yeah.
we're talking about he just loves it too much, and because he can just building houses, if he does 1 or 2 a year now, he's kind of at that point. But as you're
That's great.
transitioning and you're transitioning out, and if you don't have that son's part of your business or daughter's part of your business, it's going to come in and take over. We need to think about a business to sell. And yeah, so which is could be a great retirement. You're self-employed, and maybe you haven't treated your 401k all, padded it all up nicely and
As
diversified
most
all
of
your
us have.
money.
Yeah.
Right. So, and maybe you haven't done that, but yet you can think, this could be my retirement. And proven studies have shown the simpler your business is, the more it's worth. And the more somebody can come in and the price tag goes up because it's so easy for somebody to slip in, put somebody in that position and have a business. Even for people that don't want to do flooring, they could still buy your business, put those people in there and have an awesome flooring business by your branding. Great, smart move, Ray. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. So market trends. So what market trends do you see in wood flooring industry, and how Wildwood Flooring is adapting kind of to those market trends?
So I niche down even further, Deanna, within the hardwood um,
Oh, okay.
like group of things. We don't do sand in place floors.
Okay.
Like so 50% of hardwoods across the United States are excuse me, I think it's 60-40 now. So 60% are still sand in place flooring,
Okay.
hardwood floors, but um, the other are pre-finish engineered or pre-finished
Right.
solid. And we only do pre-finished. Um,
Yeah.
and I see the trend going more and more to pre-finished and engineered,
Okay.
just for ease of selection, quickness of install. All the new homes here in Montana are being built with mostly with pre-finished.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
And,
that's
and
good.
so, yeah,
Yeah, that allows you to, to do away with all the tools for that as well, and not have the expense of that, and
exactly.
yeah, and it's a whole, that takes a lot of days of more prep out of there for you, so you can kind of go in, go out a little bit quicker. So Good thinking.
Yeah, absolutely, Deanna. We have this. We're getting this down. I don't say we have it perfected yet, but we're getting it down to a science.
Okay, so let's talk about the improvements on your workflow that you've noticed since you've done this niching now.
Yeah. So one set of tools in the van and in the work trailers. Like it's not. Used to spend. I bet I'd spend a half a day or a day on a weekend swapping tools out from one week's work to the next, and I get that time back to myself and to my family.
Priceless.
And yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
what tag can you put on that?
Yeah.
Like we actually only install 4 days a week.
Oh,
So
okay.
when we close the doors on Thursday afternoon and I open them up on Monday, all I've had to figure out is where I'm opening up those doors. Like
Oh,
what job site am I opening the door out on the van? Everything's in there. It's ready to go. Yes, I may have to pick up a few odds and ends that are specific to a project like color matching um, caulks or fillers, but outside of that, it isn't like everything's there. It's ready to go. We're not swapping back and forth.
wow. So I bet just that alone, it sounds like you could have added a whole nother project to your month just from that time wasted.
Absolutely. This has
Yeah.
been amazing. The switch to 4 days a week installing, giving guys 3 day weekends, including myself, and niching down has literally doubled my monthly revenue.
Oh my goodness. Double, you'd think maybe a third or something like that, but doubled and how long have you made this change?
So we are going on about 14 months, I'd say, where we're specifically wood floors only.
Okay. So you're in a good groove probably. You're starting to that, yeah, you're starting to get that feedback and get that.
We got the basic systems down, Deanna, and we're looking to really kind of dial in the processes where there's, my next level in business is really dialing in the checklist things. So where, like I just lost a guy this last week, unfortunately,
Mhm.
and one thing that I need to grow in is having some SOPs in place to where when I bring the next guy in, he has those manuals, those quick reference points to go, oh, this is standard Wildwood flooring procedures, and to bring him up to speed as quickly as possible. So that's what
Absolutely.
I'm needing to make happen here as a next
Absolutely.
step.
Yeah,
The
that's
basic systems are there.
yeah, and we don't think about that when we've worked with a crew for a long time that I even need that one. But then you realize that once somebody's gone, they're great to write while you got those people that are used to doing those steps. And
Oh yeah.
yeah, that's a good time to write them while you have them. So, other than changing in some staff, what are some of the challenges then that you faced in with specializing?
I think my biggest challenge overall was literally saying, like, I'm still getting calls for tile work.
Yeah,
Like it's saying no. And I made some really good money in that industry, that part of that part of the industry. And the challenge is to be firm with your no. Like, no, I don't do that anymore. It's so easy to
yeah,
get going in the conversation. And I love walk-in showers. I think that they're just an absolute amazing.
they
You know,
are.
the shoemaker's kids have no shoes, so I don't have one myself, but I do. I, I have had them from time to time, and they're absolutely delight to use. But the thing is I can't lose my focus on the things that actually make me money and what my goal is, which is a simpler life that frees me up. Like it's the removing of the clutter
Yeah, that
out of your
noise.
brain. Yeah,
Yeah.
this is yeah, all that noise, all that different, like, we don't realize how much brain uh, CPU gets used up on trying to make these different decisions and collecting all the information we need to move in a direction. And when I only have one direction to move, which is hardwood,
Yeah.
then it's a no brainer.
Yeah, it's mind changing, life changing, and business changing for sure. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
kind of some of the stuff that I was kind of even in my own business. I admit it. You get going, going, going. And you're trying to be a contractor, and you're trying to grow a contracting business, and you think you just have to do, 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 and then in reality, you do need to stop. You need to pause, and you need to think what is my avatar? What is that one thing I want to do and I specialize in, and slow down to a turtle's pace for a little while and figure what that is out, and then make those steps in that right direction, and then the next thing you know, you're speeding up again without all the noise, right? Is that kind of how you describe it?
100%. And the challenge is, yes, making your no, and really taking the time. I call it rest for success,
Mm.
really, because you got to take the time to what am I actually wanting 90 days from now in my business? And
Yeah.
so I have these. This is why I only install 4 days a week, because I take Friday to do a little office work, and it's my rest day as well. Like,
Yeah.
it's my, I call it my business rest day, because I'm dreaming about what's coming up next, where I'm actually wanting to be, the revenue I want to bring in. Um, one of my challenges this year for myself is actually taking 10 days off a quarter,
Oh,
every
that's
quarter,
good. That's good. Yeah,
and
that's
and
how
how do
we
I
meet.
make that happen?
Right. It doesn't just happen out of the blue. You got to make it happen. Yeah. And so that's kind of where we meet with our clients quarterly, and we say, okay, what's your vision for your business? Because we kind of take them on like a partnership. Like, let's make your dreams come true. Let's work together. We don't just set up lead gen, or we don't just set up, help them with branding and set up these systems and just say, here, sink or swim. We want to, every quarter, we want to make sure that they're uh, aligning with their business. We want to make sure they're aligning with their quarter goals so that they can, definitely, we definitely want them to understand the freedom that having the right systems in place and the right plan for their business does get rid of that noise, and they can find that work-life
Yeah.
balance for sure. Yeah. Okay,
Yes.
so digital influence, your digital presence on platforms like your Instagram and your TikTok, how do they contribute to actually attracting new clients?
Yeah. And in full disclosure, that's something that I'm only about 6 months in on my journey. And
Okay.
so I've gotten a couple of jobs off of my Instagram posts and some things like that. But I don't know that I've felt the full effect of my social media marketing. Um, and that actually excites me. Like, I'm actually really intrigued by what we can go and how far we can push the envelope. Um, I've hired a social media manager, and I think
Okay.
that was one of the smartest things that I did personally, because, again, simplifying the process. We meet, um, I send her some videos of projects that we're on. She comes out and does a photo shoot once or twice a month on sites, finished projects, in progress projects,
Oh, that's
and we just
wonderful.
gather this stuff, and then, like, it's kind of one of those, for me, it's one of those things of who I know, not what can I do. And she's amazing. And I think any legitimate business, like, for me personally, the feeling that it builds inside of me is this feeling of legitimacy. Like, I have a
Absolutely.
presence in social media. We can demonstrate what we're doing and how we're doing it. And
Right.
um, that really excites me. So, yeah, I would just encourage someone, if they're struggling with this idea of either the time and energy that needs to go into making social media as another aspect of your business, find a way to simplify it. And for me, that was finding a social media manager, and getting a system with her of communication and how to get digital
Yeah.
content back and forth.
Great move, great move. Yes, what I've found is they know the algorithms. They know what these platforms like and what they don't like. So, you're highly unlikely to get, frozen, banned, and mess it all up and then have to
Right.
recover it and everything. What I've noticed is that I know what to do, when to do it, and I didn't have to go out and learn all that and figure all that out. That that these managers, they have it all.
And as a side note, because I've niched down and because the profits have doubled in the month, the revenues doubled, I have the money to buy back my time, as Dan Bartel says.
Absolutely. Yes, leverage and buy back your time. Yes, there's nothing like that that feeling that I own my business doesn't own me, you know.
Yes.
Yeah.
And again, you gotta get back to rest. Like, taking the time the book is called Think and Grow Rich,
Oh yeah,
not, not Do and Grow Rich.
absolutely. Good
And,
point. Good point.
if we're not taking the time to really think about the, almost reverse engineering it, like, I wanna be here, what are the steps in reverse that I need to take to get there?
That's
And,
exactly right.
you were talking about I think it's beautiful, Deanna, that you sit down with your clients once a quarter and have a kind of a vision quest or an envisioning for what the next, what are the goals?
Yeah.
And something that may help others that I struggled with to begin with is decide what you don't like. Like, this is how I actually arrived at hardwood. I
Okay.
really do enjoy walking showers and doing tile, but it was the amount of trips for the money. It
Yeah.
was like, I don't like, I mean, you got to go set, like, even a backsplash is like a 2-day job, regardless of how small it is.
Yeah.
And and I did not like having to make those extra trips out on the
That's a
jobs.
good point.
And there's other aspects of, like, it's cold here in the winter in Montana. A
Yeah.
wet tile saw, a wet saw in the winter is
Yeah.
miserable, cold fingers.
Miserable. Yeah. Miserable.
And so beginning with what you don't like may help some people get unstuck from beginning to vision what they do want to
That is
arrive
a
at.
good point. And also adding to that piece too, although, we're good at multiple things usually as this kind of industry, you have to be, but thinking about what you're really,
Right.
really good at. Is your talent being able to organize yourself for day two on the site and starting this job while this one's, not being completed, those type of things, getting your product and all the different products, our talent was never cleaning out the van when we got home. Hate that job.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, if I'd have thought like that, I wouldn't have had to add that job because you're not switching out your tools. So think about what your talents are and what they're not, also along with that too. What you want to do,
Mhm.
what you want to do.
That's
So,
good.
any other advice you've given gobs of good advice for that flooring professional that's considering, or any professional considering to niche down
Yeah. Oh, man. Any other advice?
or expand on anything that maybe we've talked about already?
Yeah, Deanna, I would say that, um, yeah, just um, kick fear in the teeth. It's really kind of scary to niche down and to be known
I bet.
for one thing. But again, I would just reiterate, if you're not known for something, you're known for nothing. And,
Mm,
you know, and
yeah.
who do you serve? Everyone. Well, that's not true. Here in we take care of I have a very specific clientele and high-end GCs who are building high-end homes. And that's we love I mean, I get to go in and rock out thousands of square foot of flooring on one location.
Wow.
And it's
Yeah.
but that's who
And
I
move on.
and then move on to the next big one.
Yeah.
I joke that we put floors in tiny homes here in Montana. I think our average home size is 6,000 square feet.
Woo.
And
Wow.
yeah, and it's but if I hadn't risked, it took it was it there was some fear involved. Like, am I ever going to work again? Because in this trades, you are constantly working yourself out of a job. It's just the nature of the game.
That's true. If you
Yeah.
don't have a good lead generating system and you don't have a good plan. So let me just throw that out there.
No, 100%. That's why we need you guys who are teaching us how to lead gen and and to bring, yeah, because
And then to manage them after you've got them.
you
So
can only butter the toast on one side. That's just a
that's
fact.
true. That's true. And I'm sure that you probably thought, my gosh, am I putting myself right out of business? Am I?
Oh, essentially, there was a mini death that took place. Yep,
Yeah.
a little bit of a.
So let's talk about that. Was there a little lull or did it just kind of smoothly transition?
Um, so initially, I would say there wasn't a lull because I was known for this thing, but I wasn't known only for this thing.
Okay.
There, like last summer, in full transparency, I went 5 weeks without work.
Okay.
And there was temptation to go out, make some phone calls, get some tile jobs, and do some
Yeah.
things like that. So there will come a moment in time in which your grit will be tested. Your decision to niche down will be tried.
Yeah. Yeah, tried and
And
tested but it sounds like totally worth it, completely worth it.
oh, 100%. You know, something else. I hope I can come back, be on your podcast again because I'd love to talk about profit first money systems because for me that has been just a game changer
Oh, I
for
love it. I
financing my like it's the thing that's enabled me to pay my taxes and to survive 5 week lulls at work. I actually was able to even pay my one guy at the time, his salary during that time because I had the money set aside, so he didn't have loss of wages.
wow, mention that again, what was that?
Oh, it's a profit first system.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd love
W-
to
w-
have you back. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so, let's talk about, Wildwood Flooring's future. What do you vision in the future?
What do I vision in the future? This question is catching me at a really interesting time because I've had this vision of bigger and grander and more guys and maybe a shop and a warehouse. I don't have a storefront yet. Um, we do mostly install for local stores and contractors here. So, I thought a showroom was in the works, and I'm right at that pivotal moment where I can go one of two directions.
Yeah. Often we are in our business, so what are your 2 that you're thinking about?
Yeah, it is the traditional growth model would be to get the showroom, order up the flooring samples, and open up my own show front. That is an option and one I'm considering. The
Okay.
other one is staying small, really maximizing the profits. Like
Okay.
bigger, yeah.
Bigger
I'm
isn't
challenging
always
myself.
better.
Right.
No.
Like
So
even I just actually had two installers and myself working. I was doing most of the business end of stuff while they were installing, and I lost one this last week too.
mm,
Yeah, not an on site, not an on the job injury, but uh, just a leisurely injury. But it's going
oh,
to take
I'm
him out
sorry.
for 6 months, and so I've had to
Wow.
step back into the installation as well
Yeah.
to keep jobs moving forward.
Yeah.
And I'm realizing how I really actually enjoy it and miss it. It's funny
Oh,
how
okay.
we work ourselves out of jobs, and
Yeah.
then we get back to it and we're like, "Oh, wow, this is really where I wanted to be all along." And so that's the other option, Deanna, is to stay small, just me and another guy. And yeah, it's mind blowing how
Yeah.
the profitability we can have and how busy we can stay and still take time off with that model
Yeah. And still have one niche. That's
and still have one
amazing.
niche. Yep.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so, we got a little serious there. I hope your guy, has a fast healing, and I wish the best for
Yes.
him. Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely.
Okay, so let's talk about on the humor side, though. Tell me, some memorable, funny moment that, add a touch of humor to our journey, maybe at the job site or home or something like that.
Um, oh my goodness, a funny story. Fun is actually if you go to the wildwoodflooring.pro, it's one of the core values. It's actually the first core value is to have fun.
Oh, well,
And
great.
yeah, yeah, fun, integrity, craftsmanship, and service are our four core values.
I love it.
But so, you know, we I've always just like I enjoy the camaraderie of construction
Yeah.
and just this um we used to have gluing competitions.
Gluing
We
competitions?
Yeah, we would be doing these big VCT jobs and we were doing PetSmarts at the time. And we'd be gluing out 1,000 square feet of VCT or 2,000 square feet of VCT adhesive.
Oh,
And there'd be about four of us gluing. And we'd be coming down in like a 4 track. And we would try to beat the other guy to the end and then cut him off so that he was stuck in the
stuck in the
middle
glue.
of the room.
Oh my gosh, I remember one job and I was so stuck in so much glue, it was a mess. Yeah.
Yeah. And then he'd have to wait till it dried to a certain point and we could lay out to him. So everybody's just furiously gluing. Yeah. We had oh my goodness, so much fun on the
Yeah.
job sites.
So let me share one. I don't often share this, but I thought of this today. So we were doing drywall and we'd been sanding and had mud all over us and doing ceilings and some smooth ceilings. So we're covered in drywall dust. And my son says, "Let's go get Chinese." So we go in and we go to the bathroom and I wash my hand. You wash up to, here, and the best you can, right? And it was a China buffet. And for some reason, he had gotten his food because he got out of the bathroom before me, and he had his plate at the table, and he's a good few seats away. And I'm going around the buffet, and all of a sudden, I read this label. It says seafood biscuit, and that just, and so I yell over clear across the China restaurant, and I said, "Neil, you're not gonna believe this. They got a seafood biscuit right here on the buffet."
Yeah. Yeah.
He says, "No, throw me one." Just as hicky and as can be.
As can
Everybody in the
be.
place busted out laughing. But anyway, I thought,
Yeah.
seafood biscuit, that's more country than I think of Chinese. I don't think they call
Uh-huh.
it a seafood biscuit.
I know. That's
Yeah.
good stuff.
Yeah, but anyway, that is, it's good to have fun and have fun at work.
Yeah.
Okay, so I want to maximize my listeners' value. So, as I'm always looking to provide the best for my listeners. I'd love your perspective on maybe how you think I can effectively serve them and bring value to them through my business and this podcast.
Oh man, I think you're doing it, Deanna, with asking, like, having different guests and look at the different, like, helping contractors understand the business side of their business, like, rather
Yeah.
than just the nuts and bolts of putting together drywall or electrical or the different phases of the construction. And I- you're yeah, you're opening up their mindsets if they're really listening to different ideas and different ways of thinking. And when you
Yeah.
open up different ways of thinking, you can be something that you've never been before,
Oh, that's
which
good.
enables you to do something that you've never done before. So you're doing it. And
All
thank you for that.
right. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. So, for any of our listeners that are interested in, beautiful or durable wood flooring, be sure to visit Wildwood Flooring. I love that name, by the way,
Thank you.
Ray. It
Thank
suits
you.
your town, it suits your area, and it suits your niche. So join them, check them out on their website. Follow Ray on Instagram and TikTok for more vibrant insights and updates. So, I call to action. If you're a contractor looking to elevate your business through specialization, because we just learned from Ray, it elevates your business, consider focusing on a niche just like Ray has. Define your unique area of expertise and showcase it consistently across all your platforms. Create content that addresses specific needs of your target audience to establish yourself as a go-to expert, just like Ray. So finally, engage with your niche community, both online and offline. This will strengthen your network and generate value and referrals. So Raymond,
Absolutely.
yeah. Raymond, it's been a pleasure having you on the podcast today. Your journey in the wood flooring industry is truly inspiring. And as we conclude today, to help businesses enhance their online presence and improve their Google rankings, if you know of anyone, any fellow contractors out there, businesses struggling with this, struggling to fill their pipeline, send them my way. I'd love the opportunity to support them with their strategies and their strengths and their digital visibility. So, thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Deanna. Pleasure to be with you today. Thank you for doing what you do and keeping us on the job and making happy customers.
There you go. So, listeners, if you found today valuable, our discussion, remember to subscribe to the Builder's Edge podcast for more insights from industry innovators. And until next time, continue building edge over the competition.